Hello, students. Welcome back to your English class. I am Mrs. Jenny Shah. And today, students, we are going to do a quick revision of our book Honeysuckle as well as a supplementary reader, A Pact with the Sun. Okay. So, the first chapter we had done in Honeysuckle was Who Did Patrick's Homework? So, this chapter was about Patrick, who was a lazy boy and he hated to do his homework. One day he sees that his cat is playing with a tiny doll and he snatches the doll and is amused to find that it was not a doll but it was an elf. Now the elf requests him, please don't return me back to the cat and instead of it I will grant you a wish. Patrick asked him to do his homework, to which the elf agreed. Now we see that the elf actually can't do a lot of homework and keeps troubling Patrick all the time to help him in the homework. And over here, we find that Patrick works lots harder and harder to help Elf finish the homework. But finally, it was Elf who was free to go after finishing the homework. So Patrick gets all his A's, and his classmates, parents, teachers all become surprised and they praise him. So Patrick's own inspiration actually helps him to finish his homework. So students in this RTC, they wondered what had happened to Patrick. He was now the model kid. So what will be the answer over here? All the teachers and students were surprised that Patrick had got all A's in his class as he was a very lazy boy who hated to do his homework. Now he had become a model kid who not only finished his homework but remained organized and kept his room clean and tidy. So, teachers and Patrick's parents were full of praise for Patrick. Okay, now next one. Patrick couldn't believe how lucky he was. Here was the answer to all of his problems. Over here, what does Patrick ask the elf to do? The Patrick is asking the elf to do all his homework and in return he will not give him to the cat. Okay. Next students, let's do the poem A House, a Home. Who is the poet of the poem A House, a Home? The poet is Lorianne Martha Hulley. Okay. So in this poem, the poet is talking about the difference between a house and a home. How a house is made up of bricks, cement, wood, stones, tiles, doors, etc. And these things are non-living things, they are just materials. Whereas the poet says the home is made up of vibrant, loving, and lively place where all family members care and share love and they shower their love without any conditions on each other. So, what keeps all the members in a home united? The share and care and how they shower each other with love. The unselfish act and the kind sharing keeps all the members in a home united. Okay. Then we read the wonderful story of how the dog found himself a master. Over here, there is a dog who is very unhappy with his lifestyle and he wants a master who can look after his needs. But he wants the master to be the strongest on earth. So first he chooses wolf, then he chooses bear, then lion, and finally he chooses human as his master. He decides to stay with a man because he found that the man was the strongest on earth. Up till this day, dog is man's most loyal servant and he knows no other master. Okay, so he walked and walked and he met a kinsman of his, a big wolf who was as strong as he was fierce. What do you meaning of the word kinsman over here? Where are you going, dog? The wolf asked. I'm looking for someone to take up service with. Would you like to be my master wolf? Wolf? Um, I don't see why not. The wolf said, and this agreed upon, the two of them went on together. So over here, what do you mean by the word kinsmen? Over here, kinsman means a relative. Okay. And meaning of the phrase to take up service with means to become the servant of somebody. Okay. Then they walked, and all of a sudden, Wolf lifted his nose, sniffed, darted quickly off the path and into the bushes and crept deeper into the forest. Now the dog was surprised. What's come over you, master? He asked. What has frightened you so much? Can't you see? There's a bear out there, and he might eat up both of us, you and me. So, what's come over you, master? Who said the above words and to whom and why? So, over here, these words are said by the dog to the wolf, and he asks the wolf because he wanted the strongest master, and at that time, wolf was his master, and wolf got scared. So, he asked the wolf, why are you frightened? Okay. Next, students, we did the poem Kite. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new, but the rather thing you will never see when it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. So over here, the blue in this passage means what, students? How bright on the blue? It means the sky. Over here, bright refers to what? The kite. And a kite becomes a rag when it is stuck in a tree. Okay. Next chapter, students, Tarot's reward. Tarot's reward is about tarot. It's about a woodcutter named Taro who lived with his old parents, and he wanted to give them everything that the parents needed. One day, Taro's father is wishing for a cup of sake, and Taro feels very sad because sake is a very expensive drink and he does not have enough money to buy it. So the next day, Taro goes to the forest and he's working very, very, very hard. He's chopping wood and it makes him thirsty till the end of the day. Suddenly, he hears a rushing stream. When he goes in that direction, he sees a waterfall. Now, he tastes the water in the waterfall and it tastes like sake. He quickly fills a pitcher and he takes it home for his father. That afternoon, somebody comes to visit Taro's father. And so Taro offers sake to that person. Okay. And that person asks him, where did you get sake from? So he tells him the entire incident. Okay. By the evening, lots of people visit his house and start drinking sake. Next morning, Taro reaches the forest and over there he finds everybody, all villagers are near the waterfall. They are filling their vessels for water. But when they taste it, it's not sake, it is only cold water. Now these villagers, they get very angry and they want to beat Taro. So what does Taro say? What does Taro do? He saves himself. He hides somewhere. And after all the villagers go away, he again goes and he tastes the water from the waterfall. and it tastes like steak only. So over here, the emperor rewards Taro for being such a dutiful son. And what does he say? He honors Taro, okay, and he encourages all the children to obey their parents. Okay. So which quality of Taro makes him a special boy? Because he was very, very hardworking and he wanted to fulfill all his parents' wishes. That makes him a dutiful son and that made him a very special boy. Okay. We have been tricked, shouts the villagers. Let us drown him in this waterfall. But Taro had been wise. He slips behind a rock and he is nowhere to be found. Why did the villagers feel that Taro had tricked them? Because because Taro had told the villagers that there is sake in the waterfall's water. But when the villagers taste it, it's just cold water. So the villagers feel that Taro had tricked him. Okay. Next poem we did was the quarrel. This was by Eleanor Fargion. In this poem, students, this poem was about brothers and sisters who fight with each other very often. Okay. And they fight over very petty issues. And sometimes they even forget the reason that they are fighting. So over here, the poet quarrels with the brother and the two start hating each other. But soon, one of the brother takes initiative to patch up and says that, okay, I was in the wrong. And because he says so, he ends up doing the right thing and he comes in the right side. So select the correct option and complete the line of the poem. One thing led to another and somehow we fell out. Okay. Then suddenly my brother thumped me on my back. An Indian American woman in space, Kalpana Chawla. A very important chapter we did, students. This chapter was about Kalpana Chawla, who was born in Karnal, Haryana, but she became a naturalized US citizen. After getting her bachelor's of degree in science in aeronautical engineering, she went on to do her master's and then PhD in the same stream. She was the first Indian American woman astronaut to blast off from the launch pad at the Cape Canaveral, Florida. Besides an astronaut, she was also a certified flight instructor. Her first space mission was in the Space Shuttle Columbia, which also had other crew members. They performed various experiments such as pollinating plants to observe food growth in space, etc. But that Saturday night on February 1, 2003, it brought tragic news of a disaster. And that was that Columbia had broken into flames as it was coming in for landing, killing all the 7 members, including Kalpana Chawla, who was on board. So millions of young Indians from the small town. So for many, many, many Indians, Kalpana Chawla was an inspiration and she still remains an inspiration for all times to come. So how did she become an astronaut? What gave her an idea that she could be an astronaut? After qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana Chawla began considering another challenge, applying to NASA's Space Shuttle program. She was first hired as a research scientist and then she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. Describe Kalpana Chawla's first mission in space. Kalpana Chawla's first mission in Space Shuttle Columbia was 15 days, 16 hours, 34 minutes long, and the crew included a Japanese, a Ukrainian astronaut. It performed experiments such as pollinating plants to observe food growth in space and test for making stronger metals and faster computer chips. Now we come to the latest poem that we have done, Beauty. Iya Shure. You can pronounce it as sure, sure, or shure. Iya Shure. Ey Shure. In this poem, the poet is describing the beauty and where we find beauty. It says that the beauty lies in the objects of nature, sunlight, trees, birds, rains. All good things, noble deeds, and all pleases one is beautiful. So, where does the real beauty lie, students? In our noble action and happy thoughts. The poem has been composed by Iya Shure. Sure, EY Sure. Yes, students, a very fascinating chapter, something you've done before also. A different kind of school. So in this school, students, over here the narrator is visiting Miss Beam's school, okay? And over here they meet Miss Beam, who's a middle-aged, full of authority and very understanding woman. And he asks her some questions about her teaching methods, which he had heard were very simple. So Miss Beam explained to the narrator that children were only taught as much as was needed, and they learn how to do things on their own. And the real aim of school was not to teach thought, but to teach thoughtfulness, that is kindness to others and being responsible citizens. Okay, so what do you think? Why do you think the writer visits Miss Beam's school? Writer had heard of Miss Beam's school being very different, and so he went to see it. What was the game that every child in school had to play? Each term, every child had one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day, and one injured day. This game helped them understand misfortune. Yes, now let's go to a pact of a pact with the sun, and let's do our chapters from there also. Okay, first one is a tale of two birds. You all remember story of these two birds who were brothers, and some due to some reason they were separated. So why did these birds grow up in two different places? Because there was a storm, and because of the storm the birds parted. One fell near the cave and the other fell near an ashram. So they grew up in two different places. Next was the friendly mongoose. How would you have reacted if you had seen the mongoose spear with blood? Students over here, you should be honest, because all of us lose our temper at some point of time. Imagine you're that lady who has left her baby with a mongoose at home, gone to the market, come back and found the mongoose smeared in blood. What would you do? Please write an honest answer here. The shepherd's treasure. Over here, what values did you learn from the shepherd in this story? Tell me. We learn humility and wisdom, both from the shepherd, because he was a very humble person. He never forgot his reality. He always kept it together. Okay? Old clerk shop. You remember this? What tells you that Ray was very kind and helpful? Because Ray used to lend money on watches, and he knew, and he used to not even charge them interest. So Ray was very kind and helpful. Tansen. Discuss the nature of a perfect teacher for a child. So where Tansen is a legendary singer, and he observed nature very closely and he learned the different sounds in the forest. He even imitated these sounds so perfectly that he had even scared Swami Haridas and his disciple. This experience laid the foundation stone to his successful career. He prepared his daughters to sing Raga Megha to counter the burning impact of Raga Deepak, and so they became his savior. Therefore, we can easily say that the coexistence, peaceful mind, and wisdom can be earned only when a person lives close to nature. So, students, this was a quick revision through everything. Best of luck for your upcoming examination. I wish you all the best. Thank you and have a great day.